Naomi Findlay and I am back to share with you some more rapid renovation tips. Now, are you looking at adding a new kitchen to a property, but you're not sure what kind of design will really wow your buyers? Is the property just ripe for an extension, but you can't decide where to draw the line between overdoing it and under-delivering? So when a renovation is done right, potential buyers walk in and they're blown away. The upgrades will scream to them, "Buy me, buy me." And that is where you meet a very sweet profit. But how do you make sure that you find the sweet point between over-splurging and underwhelming? So you need to ask yourself some questions. And the first question is, do you have your strategy panned out and ready to go? So if you're renovating to increase equity or to improve rental income, the level of upgrades will put you in a different space from that of a normal house flip. This will have a huge impact on the style of the upgrade and also the property that you end up choosing to renovate. So if you come across a property and can't quite decide whether you'll keep it and rent it or sell it, this is a question you can ask yourself. Will your potential buyers pay more to buy or rent a property renovated in this area? So knowing the general demographic in the area will help you answer this question. The second question you should be asking is this: what are the features that potential buyers expect to see? So if the area is one where most of the surrounding properties have ducted air conditioning and stone bench tops, are potential buyers going to be impressed with, say, a laminated bench top or a bring your own fan? I say probably not. Likewise, if you're looking at a more budget-friendly area, then you need to be probably asking yourself, do you need a backlit marble feature wall? Now, unless, of course, you are absolutely certain that your particular area will pay for that sort of upgrade, then absolutely not. So remember, keeping in mind also the layout of the property. So these days, more and more people expect to see open plan living. These days, people want to see homes that have an open plan with large rooms, and they want there to be space between the kitchen and the living to give a connection. And these are the ones that I find perform best on auction day once they're renovated. But changing a closed-off layout to an open plan layout can get more expensive. And if you haven't accounted for that in your costs properly, it's going to eat into your budget and your final profit. So if the property is screaming for a layout change and your budget doesn't allow it, don't just skip past it and go straight to painting the walls. It's best to actually leave that property alone entirely and look for another one that best suits your budget and your market. Otherwise, you risk falling flat on your face on auction day, because no amount of fresh paint and new carpets will take away from the fact that the actual layout of the house is dingy or terrible, or the bedrooms are tiny. So there is a certain level of expectation that different areas do bring. One place, laminated bench tops will work well, and other places it will be a huge downsider. This is where the research comes in very handy, which leads me to my third question, guys. So, will adding the bells and whistles make your property stand out more? Okay, so just because potential buyers aren't expecting an amazing stone fireplace in the living area doesn't mean you should scrap the idea and stick only to their expectations. If there is plenty of other properties and plenty of other options on the market for buyers, you want to differentiate your project from the rest of the bunch, right? So you want people to walk in and be like, wow, I wasn't expecting that, and that is amazing. You want buyers to get emotionally attached to your home. You want them to walk in to the next property and then come running back to yours, hands full of your profit to give to you. So these optional extras that you can add to your renovation can mean the difference between getting like an average price in the area or getting above and beyond prices, which translate to profit. But just remember not to let your decisions to add these bells and whistles be an emotional one. These cannot just be perks that you want in your home or a design style that you love, because there is no point spending extra money on gold taps and mixers just because you love that trend right now, or an iPad controlled roller blind setting for the entire property just because you love using your iPad for everything. Not only will that put you at risk of forking out more than you should, your potential buyers might actually hate the idea of gold taps, and they might be massive Android fans rather than Apple products. So unless, of course, you've already done your research and you know, not think, you know that your potential buyers love gold tapware and they love everything tech and everything Apple, then don't do it. In that case, adding these extras will have you churning up your profit, not cheering on auction day. So the last question you need to be asking yourself is, what level of finish do our properties need to make the most profit? So when I say level of finish, I don't mean like, are you only painting the walls and skipping the ceiling? I also don't mean how level are the floors, although of course that's really important. This question is, I guess, is a little similar to the second one I asked, and that's because it relies on you knowing your potential buyers and their expectations. Beyond an open plan layout, the 5 bedrooms, the lock-up garage, the big kitchen, and your buyers may want to, what might they want to see? What would the quality be like? So for example, a basic level would obviously be a budget-friendly option that would work in areas that a budget-conscious buyer would be looking at. It would generally be, a smaller house, and the renovations themselves wouldn't usually be as complicated or extensive, and not to mention as expensive as a higher-end level of renovation would be. These might be houses in maybe fringe suburbs of cities or in regional or rural areas that have a more entry-level price point and are perfect for a smaller renovation budget. But just because these renovations are on the lower end of the scale and the lower budget, it doesn't mean that you can cut corners or do poor efforts at sprucing up the place. Budget-conscious buyers are still buyers looking for something nice, and any crappy renovations will be noticed straight away. No TV renovations allowed. Now the same goes for the premium end of the scale. The premium level finishes are expected in some of the larger houses at higher price points with, water overlooking the CBD. Ironically, you can't afford to skimp on the level of renovation you provide there either, as buyers will generally hold a much higher expectation. For example, a stone kitchen might, not be wow enough to attract the sort of buyer that will give you the return on effort, especially if everyone in the neighbourhood has the same stone benchtop. So in this case, buyers will compare you like 5-star hotels. They'll all have 5 stars, but that doesn't make them equal. Some 5 stars are definitely more appealing than others, if you ask me. And you want to be the most memorable 5-star hotel, right? So always keep your potential buyers and their expectations in mind when you're renovating a property. And don't forget to keep your budget under check too, and you'll see some great returns on your renovations. Thanks for joining me. Did you know I wrote a book all about renovating to create wealth and freedom in your life? I've added the link below in the description for you. Enjoy.